The monster was prowling around the cemetery, looking for us. Mike and I huddled together, shaking like leaves. Caroline, he is real! I'm scared! Shh, he's close. But it was too late. The monster's rage-filled eyes stared at us from the darkness. We were done for. Ooh, if you like Halloween, then subscribe to the channel. I'm Caroline. My story is terrible. Terribly interesting. I lived in a tiny town called Derry. Our mayor, Mr. Kruger, wanted it to become famous, but we had nothing to attract tourists with. I didn't blame them. It was hard to imagine a place more boring. The only tourist attraction we had was a creepy abandoned house next to a cemetery. There was an old legend that a weirdo called Jack used to live there. According to the legend, he was mean and grumpy. Children made fun of and pranked him for it. Once on Halloween, teenagers pelted his house with rotten pumpkins. Jack lost it and shouted that he would turn into a pumpkin-headed monster and get back at them. He was never seen again after that. That creepy house had been empty ever since. Parents told their children that horror story to make them steer clear of Jax's house. Are you scared yet? I wasn't. I had bigger problems, namely my younger brother Mike. That brat was born on Friday the 13th. Not a good sign, is it? Mom and Dad forgot all about me as soon as he was born. I sang quite well and performed whenever we celebrated something. My parents and grandparents were always over the moon and showered me with toys. Unfortunately, my younger brother turned out to be much more talented than me. Mike learned to sing before he could talk. He was spoiled rotten, and I drifted out of the picture. Mike also had a knack for driving me up the wall. He would break my toys and act spoiled. But guess what? He got away with it because he knew when to start the waterworks. Our parents constantly scolded me and said I should look after my younger brother. It was obvious they loved Mike more than me. Being an older sister sucked. One day, I decided I wouldn't let anyone ruin my mood. It was Halloween. A costume contest was held in the city square each year, and I was determined to win. I look amazing. I'll win fair and square. I was about to leave home while Mom and Dad took Mike trick-or-treating. But then Grandma called Mom, and I had to wave goodbye to all my plans. Caroline, your father and I need to visit Grandma. She's sick. Look after Mike. Trick-or-treating is for kids. That's not up for discussion, young lady. Mike is too young to go out so late alone. I wanted to rip my hair out. Things weren't going my way yet again. I followed Mike while he asked people for candy, smiling from ear to ear. And then we ran into my classmates. Billy Bowers was among them, the most popular guy in school that I had been pining for years. I love your costume, Caroline. Why are you trick-or-treating though? That's for children. I'm looking after my brother. I'm throwing a secret party at the house by the cemetery. All the cool kids are going to be there. I wanted to invite you, but since you're busy, I guess I'll see you at school. My heart was pounding. Billy Bowers himself wanted to invite me to the party. Mike's eyes lit up when he heard about it. Evil Jack lived there. I've always wanted to see that house. Slow down, Squirt. It's too creepy there for someone as young as you. You'll wet your pants. Billy and his friends laughed and left, leaving Mike pouting. He's not that much older than me. I'm not afraid of anything. I was too busy dreaming about dancing with Billy to answer. In the end, I bought a bunch of sweets at a store, handed them to my brother, and walked him home. Don't you want to get a ton of sweets? Well, eat as many as you want. I'm going to the party. It's unfair. You ruined my Halloween. He tried to guilt trip me, but I reminded him that he ruined my birthday and Christmas with his antics that year, so we were even. I left Mike at home and went to Jack's famous house. It was dark outside and Derry had been swallowed by fog. The gloomy atmosphere perfectly suited the scariest holiday of the year. I ran into the mayor on the way to the party. Mr. Kruger was smiling mysteriously and looked like he was up to something. He complimented my costume. I have no doubt you will win. Thank you, but I'm going to a party and not the contest. The mayor wished me luck and kept walking to the city square, but after a couple of steps, he turned around and shouted something weird. I'll tell you a secret, Caroline. Tomorrow, everyone is going to be talking about our town. Tourists will finally flock to Derry. He smiled ominously and disappeared into the fog. I wondered what he meant by that. Soon, I reached the cemetery. Shivers ran down my spine. I walked up to the creaking steps and reached for the candle. As soon as the door opened, a huge spider fell on me. I was about to scream like a banshee, but then I heard Billy's good-natured laugh behind me. It's just a prop. I'm the party king. This is going to be amazing. He took me by the hand and gave me a tour of the abandoned house. He really had prepared well. There were fake skeletons, bat-shaped cakes, and candles everywhere. My classmates were already dancing and having fun. Still, it was creepy, and I felt goosebumps all over my body. Don't worry, Caroline. I will protect you from monsters. Billy smiled, and we started dancing. I felt like I was walking on air. But soon, things went downhill. The music stopped with no warning, and all the candles went out. It was pitch dark. A monstrous laugh suddenly rang out, and then we all saw the silhouette of a pumpkin-headed monster with burning eyes. Ha 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 ha! Who dares step into my house? I am back now, and I will take revenge on all the children of Derry. Ha 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 ha! At first, everyone thought it was one of Billy's pranks, but Billy screamed like a girl. Ah! This is Jack from the urban legend. He is real. Run for your lives. He fled and left me alone. The rest of the kids panicked and ran outside too. I followed their example. Soon, I grew tired of running and stopped to catch my breath. Now that I wasn't freaking out, I could finally think clearly again. It was obvious the mayor pretended to be the monster to attract tourists to the city. That's what Mr. Krueger had meant. I wish he hadn't ruined the party. Grumbling to myself, I went home. Billy really disappointed me. The guy of my dreams turned out to be a cowardly chicken. My life turned into a living hell. When I got home, Mike was nowhere to be found. He turned off his phone. That was the cherry on top of that entire evening. What was I supposed to do now? I found a note on the couch. Mike had written that he was mad at me and was going out. At that moment, Mom called me and asked if we were doing all right. Damn it, could she read minds? I nervously lied that everything was under control. That's great to hear. If something happens to your brother, you will be held responsible. Mike would pay for putting me through that as soon as I found him. If I found him. I decided that my brother had probably gone to the city square to watch the costume contest, so I ran there as fast as I could. And then the pumpkin-headed monster ran out from around the corner. But this time, I wasn't scared because I knew that the mayor was hiding behind that mask. I'm Jack, and I'm back to take revenge on the children of Derry. Yeah, Mr. Krueger, you're a great actor. Now get out of the way. I need to find Mike. The celebration on the square was in full swing. Everyone was having fun and scaring each other. It was really freaking crowded. Jeez, how am I supposed to find Mike here? I ran around, tearing off people's masks and searching every corner, but it was useless. I would be grounded for life as soon as Mom and Dad came back. And then I ran into Mr. Krueger. How did he manage to take off his costume and get there so quickly? I was on edge, so I scolded him for ruining the party at Jack's house and scaring everyone. But to my surprise, he just stared at me anxiously. Did you go to the house near the cemetery? It's dangerous. I haven't scared anyone. Why would you say that? Well, you did say everyone will be talking about Derry after tonight. I thought you wanted to revive the urban legend. I was planning nothing of that sort. I grew a huge pumpkin and thought it would attract tourists. He pointed at a stand with a giant pumpkin on it. Wait a minute. Who had scared us in Jack's costume then? Whatever. I would get to the bottom of it later. First, I needed to find my insufferable brother. Mr. Krueger said that Mike was probably still trick-or-treating. I thanked him for the idea and decided to talk to the neighbors. A boy did ask us for candy, but he left about 15 minutes ago. She pointed me in the right direction, and I ran on. Eventually, yet another neighbor sent me to yet another house, and I met a grumpy old lady. She was a bit of a wacko, and I didn't want to talk to her, but she could know where Mike was. I gave that rude boy an apple, and he didn't even thank me. He said he would go to that house by the cemetery. What? Why? I don't know, but I saw that Jack is back for revenge, so you should be careful. She laughed like a psycho and slammed the door in my face. I really didn't want to go back to that creepy place, but I couldn't leave my brother. Oh, I would give him a piece of my mind when I found him. The house towered ominously over the cemetery. I plucked up the courage and stepped inside. The rotten boards creaked under my feet, and my heart sank to my toes. I saw a silhouette in the dark. It was Mike! He was sitting on the chairs, calmly taking sweets out of his bag and eating them. I was worried out of my mind. Why did you run away? What are you doing here? Mike said that he didn't want sweets from the store. He wanted to go trick-or-treating, so that's what he did. When my bag was full, I came here to brag to you and your stupid Billy. But the party seems to be over. He's not my Billy. And besides, before I could explain what happened, that monstrous laughter rang out again, and then Jack appeared again. Oh no! Mike, run! My brother quickly picked up his bag of sweets, and we ran out through the back door into the cemetery. The monster with burning eyes was chasing after us. We hid and clung to each other. My soul nearly left my body. Caroline, he is real! I'm scared! Shh, he's close. The pumpkin-headed monster noticed us. I took my brother by the hand and kept dragging him away. We ran until we bumped into a cop on the street. I tried to explain that a monster was chasing us and we needed help, but the policeman thought we were just scared of someone in a costume. Why are you even out so late? He didn't believe us, so we had to save ourselves. Mike and I ran home and locked all the doors. I was a nervous wreck. Were we really safe? Then, my brother suddenly hugged me and said he was sorry for being such a pain in the butt. Caroline, we haven't always got along, but you're the best sister in the world. You didn't leave me there. Thank you. Oh, his words moved me to tears. I ruffled my brother's hair. Being an older sister was hard, but not all bad. We made up, and I tried to figure out what to do next. My brother wanted to eat more sweets. Imagine our surprise when he pulled diamonds out of the bag instead. Hey, where are my sweets? What are these pebbles? Holy heck! When we were running away from Pumpkinhead, Mike must have grabbed the wrong bag in the dark. His sweets were probably still lying in the house by the cemetery. But where had the diamonds come from anyway? I didn't have time to think about it. Someone tried to kick down our door. Mike and I shuddered. I know you're in there, kids. Oh no, that monster found us. My brother and I exchanged terrified glances. Our parents were far away and the police hadn't believed us. What could we do? Then, Mike suddenly smiled slyly and rubbed his palms. Caroline, let's show this monster that he messed with the wrong kids. He told me his plan and I decided it was worth a try. Let's turn him into pumpkin jam. We worked as a team and quickly set up a trap for the monster. Here's what happened next. masks. Mike turned off the lights and hid behind the sofa, while I carefully opened the door. The pumpkin-headed man ran inside with a yell and immediately slipped on the sticky syrup we had poured on the floor. The monster slipped like he was on ice. Then, Mike pulled the string we had prepared and Jack tripped over it. He lost his balance and fell into a closet. My brother and I locked him in there and high-fived each other. After that, we called the police. But this time, we said that a thief had broken into our house. So the cops came quickly and handcuffed the monster. During the arrest, his mask fell off, and it turned out he was an ordinary man. My brother and I didn't recognize him, but the police did. This is Jack. We recently got notified he escaped from prison. Everything finally made sense. Although the old legend said Jack disappeared without a trace years ago, he actually went to jail for stealing diamonds. No one had heard anything about him for a long time. The diamonds were never found because he had hidden them well. A few days ago, Jack had escaped from prison and tried to get the diamonds, but discovered teenagers partying at his house. The criminal found out there were rumors about him being a monster going around, so he dressed up as Pumpkinhead and decided to scare us so that everyone would run away and no one would see where he hid his treasure. But his plans were thwarted by Mike. My brother mixed up the bags and took Jack's diamonds as we were running away. That's why Jack had followed us to our house. I would have succeeded if it hadn't been for these brats. The cops praised us for our bravery and led Jack away. He wouldn't be released anytime soon. My brother and I wanted to clean up before our parents came back, but it had been a long night, and before we knew it, we fell asleep right there on the floor. When our parents came back the next morning, they saw us hugging each other in our sleep. They didn't scold us and were happy we finally found a common language. Besides, the police had already told them everything about our adventures. By the way, Mr. Kruger's dream finally came true. As soon as journalists found out about everything that happened, tourists flocked to Derry. Mike and I became local celebrities, but more importantly, after that Halloween, we became real friends. Do you know any cool scary stories? Come to our town next Halloween.